So once you've done some work and you're ready to document your progress, we can make a post on the Open Lab. I recommend trying to do this before you leave class today, especially if you haven't used the Open Lab before. It's not too hard, but it's just good to make sure that you know how to do everything before next class. So anyway, if we want to make a new post, we're gonna add a post here. And then it's gonna ask you to add a category. For the category, you can put, this is last semester. So I'll update these categories later, but we want to add project 1 maze. And then we can also use the weekly devlog category. So we'll categorize it for the project as well as this is just like a weekly blog post. So once we add a category, the little error thing will go away. If you don't see this menu, just click this little toggle here, and that'll open up the side menu. You can add a title. You can say week 1 progress or documentation or whatever you want there. And then all of these little, you might see, if you haven't used it before, you might see these like little windows open down here. You don't have to use these. So don't use the content summary, don't use the CSS, don't use custom fields. You can just collapse those. You can just type directly into WordPress. So, if I type here, here's my progress from week 1, and I just hit enter, I can just like keep typing. And then I can also add images. I can also I can either drag them in here or I can hit plus and add an image and then upload an image that way. Let's delete this for a second. So for documentation, since we're making a game, we want to have documentation of our progress of the game. And today we're just going to do images, but next week we'll also do video. So I'm going to go back to Godot for a second, and I'll show you a couple ways to take screenshots. So one thing I might want to take a screenshot is just like my general game setup. So I can take a screenshot of the Godot window. So maybe I would make the center look a little bit bigger and kind of focus on here, but also make it so you can see different parts, whatever I want to kind of highlight about what I'm working on. And then on the Mac, there's a few different ways to take a screenshot. If I hit Command, Shift, and 3 at the same time, it'll just take a screenshot of the whole screen. And it'll save it to the desktop. So this is what that looks like. That's perfectly fine. You can do that. I'm going to delete it. You can hit Command-Shift 4, and that'll bring up this little target thingy, and you can draw like a window around where you want to take a screenshot. This is good if there's like a really specific thing that you want to take a screenshot. Like maybe I just want to take a screenshot of my scene hierarchy. Although you have to be careful because of the little pop-up. I don't want this example guy in there, so I'll have to do it like that. Okay, so if I want like just a little screenshot of my scene hierarchy, I can just focus on one particular part of the window. What I usually do is I hit Command-Shift 4, but then if you hit the space bar, you'll get this little camera, and that lets you take a picture of just a specific window on the computer. So that way I get the Godot window without the toolbar at the top. The other thing that's kind of cool about this is it adds a little background shadow, so it makes it look like it's kind of like hovering. You might like that. If you don't like that, you can get rid of that. If you hit Command-Shift 4 and then hit space and then hold Option and then click the window, you get the same screenshot without the little hover background thing. So whichever you prefer is fine. You might also want to get a screenshot of the actual gameplay. So I can run the scene, and then I can, pick out a particular area that I want to look at. And then when you're using the player, there's no mouse, right? Because it's a first-person player, and it captures the mouse so that when you move the mouse, you move the camera. But if you hit the tilde key on the keyboard, which is the key right below escape, there's a little bit of code that will give you control of the mouse again. And if you hit it again, it'll go back into the game mode. So you can hit the tilde key and then do your Command-Shift 4, hit space, and take a little camera shot. So you can get images from the gameplay while you're running the game, as well as the game engine to show your development process. And it's good in our documentation to show a little bit of both and highlight what we're working on. So I can say here's the scene setup in the Godot engine. And then these images will save to my desktop. So you can see the screenshot here, this other screenshot, and then this gameplay screenshot. And so you can just upload these and then delete them. You don't really need to save them, but if you want to save them, you could make usually what I'll do is make like a documentation folder and save these images in there. So it depends on how, if it's just a few screenshots, if you put them on OpenLab, they'll be up in the WordPress, so you don't really have to worry about it. But if you want to make sure that you don't lose them, you could put them in your documentation folder. So to upload these, I'm just going to drag and drop up here. But you can also use the interface. So while that's uploading, I'll just say, here's a view from the gameplay. And so I'll add an image, click upload. I'll go to my desktop, go into my class folder, and then find that image, and then open that up. And then this week, we're just getting started, so you may not have a full concept yet, but we also want to, in our documentation, talk about what we're sort of working towards. So you might add a sentence or two about your concept for the game. So I'm going to say, like, for my project, I'm working on a maze. I want to connect several rooms with different scenery to guide the player through the maze. Something simple just to kind of let us know what you're working on. Once you've got that done, you can click publish, and it makes you click publish again to confirm. And then this is what you'll submit for the assignment on Brightspace. You don't have to submit any of your files or images or anything like that. Just copy this link as long as you've got everything on there. You can go over to Brightspace. I'm going to go to assignments. Find the blog post assignment. You can take a look at the rubric. So we want to see your progress made so far, documentation, blog post, writing, working link. Throw that link in there, and then click submit. And that's how you submit your assignment. And that's it. Well, I'll grade it. I'll let you know if there's anything that you're missing, and you can resubmit if you want. And once you do that, if you go back to the blog, you'll see that your post will show up under your author name. So all the stuff that you post on here will be collected there. And it'll also show up in the main posts feed. And then it'll also show up in the categories for the different projects. So there's a bunch of different ways that our work is categorized. The posts also have comments on them. So if you are looking at your classmates' posts and you want to give them feedback or encouragement, you can say, like, this looks cool or nice work or whatever. So you can interact with each other's posts on here if you want to. Okay, I'll stop there.